Have you ever found yourself swept away by a strong emotion? Perhaps a surge of anger that made your blood boil, or a wave of sadness that left you drowning in despair. These powerful forces, our emotions, have the capacity to shape our lives for better or worse. They can inspire us to incredible heights or plunge us into the depths of despair. Our emotions are like the weather of our inner world, constantly changing, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy, but always influential. They shape our perceptions, guide our actions, and influence our relationships. In essence, our emotions are the lens through which we view the world. Yet while they can provide us with profound experiences and insights, they can also lead us astray. An unchecked emotion can cloud our judgment, distort our perceptions, and lead us to make decisions we later regret. It's like trying to navigate a ship in a raging storm. The waves of emotions can easily toss us off course. Now, imagine if we could understand these emotions, recognize their power, and harness it. Imagine if we could navigate the storm instead of being tossed about. This is where the teachings of Buddha come into play. Over 2,500 years ago, Buddha provided us with a roadmap to understand and control our emotions. His teachings provide a foundation for understanding our feelings, not as obstacles to be overcome, but as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. This is not about suppressing or ignoring our emotions. Quite the contrary, it's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and ultimately controlling them. It's about transforming the storm into a gentle breeze, about navigating the ocean of emotions with the grace and skill of a seasoned sailor. This journey towards emotional control is not easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. It offers a path towards inner peace, towards a life where we are in control, not our emotions. Now wouldn't it be empowering to control these emotions instead of being controlled by them? Ever wondered about Buddha's perspective on emotions? Buddha's teachings offer a unique view, a lens through which to observe and understand our emotional states. At the heart of these teachings lies the concept of impermanence, known as anicca in the Pali language. This principle reminds us that all things, including our emotions, are transient. They arise, they exist for a time, and then they pass away. Now imagine acknowledging each emotion as it surfaces, observing it without judgment, and then letting it go, understanding that like a wave, it has a beginning, a peak, and an end. This shift in perception can be liberating, freeing us from the tight grip of overwhelming emotions. Buddha also imparted the wisdom of the Four Noble Truths, a cornerstone of his teachings. The first truth acknowledges the existence of suffering, or dukkha, which can often be the result of our emotional reactions. The second truth identifies the cause of this suffering, often our desire or craving for things to be different than they are. The third truth assures us that cessation of this suffering is possible. And the fourth truth, it guides us towards the cessation of suffering through the Noble Eightfold Path. These truths provide a roadmap to understanding our emotions. They encourage us to see that our suffering often comes from resisting our emotional experiences, from wishing them away or wanting them to stay. By accepting that emotions are a part of life, just as the seasons change, we can start to navigate through them with more ease and grace. So, how can these teachings support us? They remind us that we are not our emotions, we merely experience them. They guide us towards acceptance, reducing the struggle and amplifying the peace. They provide a framework for understanding and dealing with our emotions in a more mindful and compassionate way. Remember, the key lies in understanding that our emotions are impermanent, and they do not define us. By embracing this wisdom, we can begin to experience our emotions without being swept away by them, leading us towards a more balanced and enlightened existence. Why should we strive to control our emotions? This question brings us to the heart of our exploration today. Emotional control is not about suppressing or denying our feelings. Instead, it's about understanding them, managing their intensity, and responding to them in a way that aligns with our values and promotes inner peace. Emotions are like waves on the ocean of our consciousness. They rise and fall, ebb and flow. When we lack control, these waves can become turbulent, posing a threat to our stability and peace of mind. But when we learn to control our emotions, we become like skilled surfers, able to ride these waves with grace and ease. This is where Buddha's teachings come into play. They emphasize the importance of emotional control as a key aspect of leading a balanced life. Buddha taught that emotions are transient, changing like the weather. Just as we wouldn't let a passing storm dictate our lives, we shouldn't let fleeting emotions rule our actions and decisions. Buddha also stressed the importance of mindfulness in emotional control. By being fully present and aware of our emotions as they arise, we can prevent them from overwhelming us. We can observe them without judgment, understand their source, and let them pass without causing disturbance. This mindful approach to emotions aligns perfectly with modern psychological understandings and is now a cornerstone of many therapeutic techniques. Controlling our emotions in the Buddhist sense is not about becoming emotionless. It's about gaining a mastery that allows us to experience our feelings fully without being swept away by them. It's about finding a middle way between emotional repression and emotional chaos, a path that leads to harmony, equanimity, and inner peace. Imagine a life where you navigate through emotions with ease and grace. Such a life is not a distant dream, but a tangible reality that can be achieved through the practice of Buddha's teachings. As we continue our journey, let's carry this vision with us, using it as a beacon to guide us closer to the shores of emotional mastery. How can we apply Buddha's teachings in our lives? This question nudges us towards the practical side of wisdom, where philosophy meets reality. Buddha's teachings are not meant to be admired from a distance, but to be woven into the fabric of our everyday existence. Imagine this: you're in the middle of a heated argument, your heart is pounding and your mind is racing. It's a moment ripe for regrettable words and actions, but what if in that exact moment you could pause, take a deep breath, and observe your emotions without getting swept away? This is the essence of mindfulness, a cornerstone of Buddha's teachings. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about observing them, understanding them, and then responding instead of reacting. The way to cultivate this mindfulness, according to Buddha, is through meditation. Think of meditation not as an escape from reality, but as a return to the present moment. When we sit quietly, focusing on our breath, we create a space within ourselves. In this space, we can watch our emotions rise and fall without judgment, without attachment. We begin to see our emotions for what they are, transient and not defining our entire being. But mindfulness and meditation are only parts of the puzzle. Buddha also laid out the Noble Eightfold Path, a guide for ethical and mindful living. This path encourages us to embrace right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each step on this path offers a practical way to manage our emotions. For instance, practicing right speech can prevent us from uttering words in anger that we might later regret. Living by these principles may seem daunting, but remember that it's a journey, not a destination. Each day offers countless opportunities to practice mindfulness, to meditate, and to walk a little further on the Noble Eightfold Path. Remember, it's not about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding and managing them. As we strive to apply Buddha's teachings in our lives, let's keep this mantra close to our hearts. It serves as a gentle reminder that emotional control is not about denying our humanity, but about embracing it in all its complexity. Scene script, ready to embark on the journey towards emotional mastery? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far. We've explored the power of emotions, the wisdom of Buddha's teachings, the importance of emotional control, and the practical applications of these teachings. Now, it's time to put these insights into practice. Emotional mastery is not a destination, but rather a journey, a process of cultivating awareness, understanding, and skillful management of our emotional states. It's akin to learning a new language or mastering a musical instrument. It requires consistent practice, patience, and an open mind. Remember, the purpose of this journey is not to suppress or avoid emotions. On the contrary, it's about fully experiencing them, understanding their nature, their causes, and their effects. It's about recognizing that emotions, like everything else in life, are impermanent. They arise, they exist, and they pass away. By internalizing this truth, we can start to loosen the grip of destructive emotions and cultivate those that lead to peace and well-being. So how can we start this journey? First, we can practice mindfulness, being fully present in each moment. Observe your emotions without judgment. Notice how they arise, how they feel, and how they change over time. Recognize them as they are, transient states of mind, not fixed aspects of who you are. Second, embrace compassion for ourselves and others. When we meet our emotions with kindness, we create a space for understanding and healing. When we extend this compassion to others, we foster empathy and connection, helping us navigate the world with more grace and wisdom. Finally, remember the teachings of Buddha as a guiding light. His insights into the nature of emotions, the Four Noble Truths, and the Noble Eightfold Path provide a roadmap for this journey. They offer practical strategies for managing emotions, cultivating inner peace, and leading a more mindful and fulfilling life. As Buddha said, "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without." Begin your journey towards emotional mastery today and discover the peace within.